Hey, it's Dr. Ron here, and today I want to talk about habits and really want to get into a topic that I think is so important, namely the fact that habits can be changed. Habits are behaviors and they can be changed. And that's what we really need to discuss at this point. Uh, we all grow up doing certain kinds of things and we can acquire them later in life. Habits can be good, the kind of thing that keeps you exercising regularly, being conscientious about your work, eating healthy, reading on a regular basis, keeping up with friendships, and so on. And we all know about bad habits. Smoking, drinking too much, eating too much sugar, so on. I don't like to think in terms of the word bad because it has no meaning when we get to habits. Habits are characteristic ways that we do things. And when somebody tells me, I smoke, but that's a bad habit, or I eat sugar, it's a bad habit. I just like sweet desserts and so on. When I hear that, then one of the major problems that occurs is we're able to take the term bad and just treat it as if it's kind of a meaningless term. It's bad, but just like when all of us grew up, we've gone through hundreds of times when people said, well, you did something wrong, you're a bad boy. Over time, you learn you're not a bad boy or a bad girl just because you did something wrong. Same kind of thing here, that bad is something that doesn't have kind of this real qualitative realm to it. That's why I like to think in terms of the fact of the terms toxic and nourishing when it comes to habits. Those terms are used in other ways too, but I think they're particularly relevant when we think in terms of habits, having toxic habits that actually drain from us. And we know, for example, that a nicotine habit can really reduce the health of your body and lead to a premature death. Same thing for eating too much sugar, the same thing for too sedentary a lifestyle, the same thing for being highly critical of others or some of the more complex interpersonal habits that we may have. The notion of having a kind of go-to behavior of putting others down or being sarcastic without being able to be serious about it. Those aren't as much bad habits as they are toxic habits which drain us from becoming the best person that we can be, whether we're talking about physical health, emotional health, intellectual functioning, or whatever. By the same token, we can build in nourishing habits, habits that enable us to be our best versions of ourselves by being helpful to others, by appreciating the good that surrounds us, by eating, drinking, and exercising in healthy ways that are nourishing. So I think it's a lot simpler to think in terms of what is it doing to your body and what is it doing to your mind if you maintain a particular habit. Is it toxic? Is it draining? Or is it nourishing and helps to promote you? We're going to talk more about this as we go along, and it's one of the things that I'd like you to be aware of with regard to our upcoming webinars on Thursday and Tuesday, dealing with aging without fear. Despite the title, it's available to all ages. But one of the things that enables us to age without fear is to know that we're doing the best jobs that we can for our body and our mind, and that begins with some of the habits that we have. We'll talk about it there. We'll talk about it more as we go through the work that we do at the Mental Health Gym and Rejuvenating University. But today, just wanted to whet our appetite and recognize just how important Habits are, and I encourage people to not think in terms of them being good or bad, because that doesn't provide quite the meaning that toxic and nourishing does. See if that doesn't work for you, and I'd like to hear what you think. Also would like to hear from those of you who have been able to change from toxic habits to nourishing ones, because again, habits are behaviors and behaviors can be changed. Till next time, this is Dr. Ron Kaiser wishing you the very best of success. Hope I'll see you at our webinars, and I hope you will look into yourself and see whether there are some toxic habits that you can make nourishing.